laps after that in-race penalty applied to the number 5.
Right, so we move on. There are our Honda Cadets getting ready for their final. Mick Palmer from Touring Car Magazine asks, what is the JSCC link, the Junior Saloon Car Championship link? Well, they're a sponsor of the Kart Championship, aren't they? And they've got strong links with kids. I think, is there a prize drive for the...
I'm not quite sure,
like,
but there's we've had junior saloon cars at championship events for the Kart Championship for drivers to sort of look at, get a feel of what the car is all about. I know a few drivers that
they're a sponsor of the series, though, aren't they? They actually put something in to the series, and Darren Beavers and his team have created that partnership with the Junior Saloon Car Championship. It's kind of a natural progression if you want to move out of karts and into cars at 14 years old. You can join the grid of the Junior Saloon Car Championship, and I know they are going to be supporting the TCR UK bill in the UK next year, so that's a great package to be involved in, getting involved in car racing. Meanwhile, David, we've got the Honda Cadet parents, a more sedate race to the grid for their to greet their kids.
Slightly less enthusiastic by our Honda Cadet parents, although we do have a few joggers, and now, as soon as we've said it now we've got some with a little bit more pace. That's Ricky McIntosh's dad in the black with the hood on as he's making a move round the outside. That's Mark Reynolds from Tornado Racing Engines on the left with the hat, and could it be a dead heat? No, Dino Rowland's dad's going to take the victory on the right hand side.
Let's have a look at the grid as the karts come round to form up for what will be a standing start for the Honda Cadet 200s. It's Archie Loveridge who plants himself on pole position with Jack Wykes alongside him. They had scored exactly the same amount of points in the heats and the superheat. It's there by dint of fastest lap, Archie Loveridge going slightly quicker than Jack Wykes in that superheat. They share the front row. Dexter Perry will start alongside Ricky Jr. McIntosh on row 2. Roddy Smart has been very, very quick here. He starts on row 3 alongside Archie Cannon, the Scottish champion, with row 4 looking like Elliot Burke and Noah Clare. Shailin Srikantan starts on the 5th row of the grid with Noah Clark alongside. Edward Rye and Riley Blakemore are on row 6. Ashton Horsepool and Mason Becker on row 7, with Jaden Patel, Scott and Tom Nichols on row 8. Row 9, Jane Prakash and Dino Rowlands. Ethan Pearson, Jerry Dufficy share row 10, and rounding off a 21 kart Honda Cadet field is Reggie Dufficy.
So Jack Wykes and Ricky McIntosh just being straightened back up in their starting berths, not quite in a straight line enough. One to watch here for me, Dexter Petty jumped from 7th at the start of the superheat to start this final in 3rd, having won that race eventually after Ronnie Smart was given a penalty that now sees him start in P5. Here we go then in Honda Cadet for their final 12 minutes plus 1 lap of action. And we are away and racing. It's been a good start from Jack Wykes on the outside, but he's not going to be able to get in. The rest of the field to the inside. Dexter Petty up into 2nd place. It's been a good start by Ronnie Smart from P5. He's up into 3rd place. Ricky McIntosh drops into P4. And then Ronnie Smart wasting no time at all going past Dexter Petty, and that's allowed McIntosh round the outside. And Archie Cannon's in the mix in the S-plate.
And the name you didn't mention was Archie Loveridge, who had a fine start from the pole position. The black nose of that kart edged into the front of this field, while behind him all hell breaks loose into the second of the Sennas, with the Scottish champion ending up getting wrapped up in something there for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th places. How that will come out the chicane, we do not know. Meanwhile, at the front, 3 karts breaking away.
Yeah, Archie Loveridge leads from Ronnie Smart and Ricky McIntosh. Behind them, Archie Cannon squeezing Dexter Petty round the Senna 1 and 2 complex. He's come out in the lead of that argument. Dexter Petty drops down into P5. Warning on the overhead gantry for the S-plate for that. But Ronnie Smart from P5 is now trying to push Archie Loveridge away from Ricky McIntosh.
I knew Ronnie Smart was going to be a kart to watch. That's the number 50 there in the green and red helmet in 2nd place. Quite happy to follow Archie Loveridge around with very common practice here in this Honda Cadet class. Ricky Jr. McIntosh comfortable in that 3rd place. And I think with 10.5 minutes remaining, David, whether or not we see anybody making a break, and as I say that, Ricky Junior McIntosh just having a little look up the inside towards the chicane, but I think that was more about momentum than actually a determined sort of place attempt. Here we go, though. Is he?
Yes,
he is
Smart's
indeed.
Down the inside of Loveridge. Ricky McIntosh is going to get through as well. And then just eases to the side, just in case Loveridge still had his nose in.
I love how Ronnie Smart, though, once he got into the lead, he taps his helmet.
Yeah.
Right, lads, follow me. Follow me to the checkered flag. Here we go, then. Out onto the start-finish straight. 2 laps completed. Ronnie Smart for Project 1 leads. Ricky Junior McIntosh in second. Archie Loveridge third. Through goes Dexter Petty, Archie Cannon, Jack Wykes, Noah Clare, Noah Clark, Elliot Bourke.
Oh, sorry, contact. We've got a driver out through the wall. You could see him coming back through there. Heavy contact between Noah Clark was one of them, but he was collateral damage. The driver went off, clipped the grass, span across the field, and then was pitched into the tyre wall. Very lucky not to be out of his car, and I get the feeling we might go to a Battenberg condition, which for the 3 leaders will be an absolute travesty for them because they've got a gap of 3 seconds.
Well, we've got the driver out of the cart and into the safe haven of the marshal's post. People will see that. We'll get a report on that, but he looked like he was fine as he walked to the marshal's post. Meanwhile, we stay green as the leader, Ronnie Smart, comes out of the final turn. He will complete 3 laps with Ricky Junior McIntosh breaking away with him now. Archie Loveridge being left behind slightly for what is now a very lonely third place. Meanwhile, for 4th, 5th and 6th, they're not far behind one another. Dexter Perry, Archie Cannon and Jack Wykes.
Great work by the marshals to keep this race going. They've worked feverishly. Noah Clare was the driver involved, but he's out of the cart. Looks to be okay. Could have been a lot worse. So great to see he's up and out of the cart at Marshall Post 2, still being covered under waved yellow.
Ronnie Smart, there's our leader, out towards the chicane. Ricky McIntosh in that all-black livery, the black helmet, the black overalls, giving him that kind of sinister bad guy feel, isn't it? Yeah, he's got a yellow nose cone on the front of that cart and yellow side pods, but it's still from the front. He looks like he's the all-black knight coming back towards Ronnie Smart. He's staying in his wheel tracks, still got a chunk, still got the duration of one of our heats left on the clock here as they cross the line. 4 laps completed.
McIntosh won the final at Wilton Mill. I think he started that race in 6th place, and I did say before the race started that he was my shout for that victory. He's gone very much under the radar this weekend as Ricky McIntosh. Not finished a race inside the top 3, but he's currently battling Ronnie Smart for the victory here. Archie Loveridge in 3rd place, and they've got a big gap back then to Dexter Petty, Archie Cannon, Jack Wykes. He clipped the grass just before Noah Clare went off as well. He was lucky to stay on track. He did drop him down to P6.
There's the leaders through the chicane now, heading towards the gasworks. It'll be 5 laps completed this time by, and as we've seen, lap after lap so far, the black cart of Ricky McIntosh quite happy to sit behind Ronnie Smart. They can remember, the drivers can see exactly how much time is still left in this race as they come out here. You might get to see the timing board there in red letters just on the gantry. 7 minutes remaining, so plenty of time for things to develop, and indeed plenty of time for Archie Loveridge to get back on terms, remember.
Yeah, on the previous lap, every single driver set a personal best. This track now coming to our drivers. Fastest driver on track in 7th place is Elliot Bourke, and he still feels that he's got a chance of taking a top 5 trophy home with him, currently in P7.
Into the second centre. Out of there, they will head towards the chicane. McIntosh in the wheel tracks of Ronnie Smart. Quite happy to sit there. We daren't take our eyes off this one. I know there's 6.5 minutes remaining, but you just know when we look back towards down the field, we know that'll be when Ricky McIntosh will make his move. So we're going to stay with this one for the time being, because he's never been more than, say, a couple of feet away from that leader as they cross the line. 6 laps completed, and then Archie Loveridge 1.1 seconds behind in 3rd, and that's been pretty much that gap for a few laps now.
Archie Cannon and Jack Wykes find a way past Dexter Petty for 4th place. They've not going to be close enough, I don't think, to battle for the top 3 honours. Archie Loveridge, though, will be hoping that these two start squabbling sooner rather than later, because at the moment he's falling away to the tune of 3 or 4 tenths a lap as these two comply and work together. You can see Ricky McIntosh just pushing away with the 50 of Ronnie Smart, but Loveridge, I think, will hope that they battle soon so that he can get back in the mix. At the moment, it's a lonely third place for the 73.
They literally are in the wheel. They're staying in the wheel tracks of one another. Ronnie Smart across the curb there. Ricky McIntosh uses the same curb in exactly the same fashion. 7 laps completed. McIntosh won't have a go into turn 1 for sure. He hasn't got the momentum out of that final turn, and will be happy to follow Ronnie Smart through Brian's Bend there. Stay off the curb. Stay off the first curb of the dog leg there. Smash the second, the exit curb as well. Keeping that momentum. And then through St John's, using all of that extra additional piece of tarmac there on the outside. Positioned very, very nicely, actually. Just keeps the momentum up there. And they're already towards the chicane.
It is. While you've been looking at this, I've been just tracking what was happening inside the top 10 further down, as Jack White falls down to 9th place, and Elliot Burke, who set the fastest lap earlier on, moves up into P5. We've had Edward Rye is up there as well. We've not seen him inside the top 10, but they've obviously made a setup change for this final that's working very, very well for the MS Kart of Edward Rye, currently in P7. Top 2, though, there's your top 3 going through. Loveridge is getting closer. That's Archie Cannon, the next driver. Then it's Elliot Burke, Dexter Petty and Edward Rye. And that is Edward Rye on the back of this train that we have to say we haven't seen him inside the top 10 on that MS chassis in the number 66, but now he's starting to try and find his way through. The 2 zip runners at the front, though, of Archie Cannon and Elliot Burke in the S plate and the 15 respectively. Then that's Dexter Petty in the 16, and he's so late on the brakes, is Petty in that 16.
Let's see if Petty can get on terms with the 2 zip kart drivers, Archie Cannon, Elliot Burke. They're sitting there as we join the leaders, and that's still Ronnie Smart from Ricky McIntosh sitting in his wheel tracks. Archie Loveridge still 1.1 seconds behind. Well, that was about 9/10, so it's still on the second. As they come out of the final turn and head towards, we've got a penalty for that blue helmeted Dexter Petty, who at the moment is 6th and will drop down outside of the top 10 for sure when that penalty is applied. Not quite sure what that was for, Dave.
Well, he was with Jack Wykes earlier on when Jack Wykes and the 13 dropped down. They were both given a warning, and then Petty has subsequently been given a penalty. I'm no Poirot, but I think it might have been for something to do with Jack Wykes.
Maybe it was. We're getting towards the 2.5 minute mark, so we're getting towards that stage of the race where if Ricky McIntosh is going to make a move, it's going to be in the next minute or so, as the time and opportunity begins to erode for Ricky McIntosh. And it is if, in the same way that McIntosh was going to have to start looking for a way by, Ronnie Smart sees how much time is left, and he's responded, put in some really quick lap times there. Still Ricky McIntosh slightly quicker, I've got to say, but this is going to be a different lap time altogether. Let's see where it is. 10 laps in the bag now. A 58.25 for Ronnie Smart, a 58.51 for McIntosh, and there the gap has been pulled to give himself a cushion as the 2-minute bell warns.
These races 25% longer, 9 minutes up to 12, and you get the feeling that Ronnie Smart, if you drop the tyre pressures by half a PSI, it's going to give you a lot more throughout the race. It takes a while then for them to come up to temperature, but Ronnie Smart looks like he's got a little bit left in the locker from Ricky McIntosh, and it won't be nice for Archie Loveridge in that 3rd place. He was hoping these two were going to have a titanic scrap to allow him back with an opportunity for the victory. At the moment, though, he's going to need Ricky McIntosh to find a few tenths.
He has been coming, though, hasn't he? He has been coming.
Petty down the inside of Archie Cannon, and then they're going to be 3 wide. Petty's wide, Petty's on the grass, and then Petty's in a spin, and that contact with Elliot Burke as well. They're both on the grass, and the rest of the field are going to come through.
Dexter Petty's tail of war continues, going very wide at the gasworks, ending up on the grass. Those tyres are now wet, and that was such a disaster for Elliot Burke, who was just taken out by an accident he wasn't even involved in. And that's just unfortunate. That tail of war, that nightmare continues for Dexter Petty. He's got a 5-second penalty, and now he's massively out of contention.
Up into the P5, though, now goes Edward Rye in the 66. He started in 11th place. I said to his dad this morning in the cafe, has Edward turned up today? He said, what do you mean? I says, well, he's better than being 12th and 13th like he was yesterday, and now he's proving it. He's up into the top 5. It looks like he's taking some, I would say silverware, but the trophies are gold. Is goldware a word?
Goldware, I'm not really sure. 20 seconds on the clock. It's going to be 2 more laps, and we've got now almost a 3-kart battle for the lead of this race. Ronnie Smart and Ricky McIntosh have come back towards each other. That's a more familiar look what we're used to here. Ronnie Smart did pull a little bit of a gap, but that's just disappeared into thin air. They are on the penultimate lap across the exit curbing of the dogleg now and into the left-hander at St John's. Tricky corner this, off camber. Karts just letting breathe by these drivers into the first of the centres. The black kart there of McIntosh chasing down the Project 1 kart of Ronnie Smart now. And the question I suppose that's going to be answered, David, is whether or not Ricky Jr. McIntosh has been playing a waiting game. We're going to get an indication here. As defensive goes Ronnie Smart.
Yeah, Smart's going to try and back McIntosh up now. McIntosh at one point was nearly half a second back from Ronnie Smart. Around about 2 laps ago, we said he's going to need to chip away at him. Don't discount Archie Loveridge, though, as we head out onto the final lap, because these two at the front are going to have a battle as they run up towards turn number 1. Smart parks the number 50 Project 1 machine to the inside, as Ricky McIntosh is going to have to think of something to try and find a way through.
As we get around this lap, not everywhere is a passing opportunity. There's a passing opportunity going to present itself now as they head towards the centres. Ronnie Smart snaps across to the left, defends that inside line. McIntosh back. Archie Loveridge is coming. And as these two continue to squabble, Archie Loveridge with that blue helmet in 3rd place. He might even be able to get on terms. This is the last opportunity really in the lap for Ricky McIntosh to come down the inside of Ronnie Smart. And Ronnie Smart knew exactly where he was. He didn't have to defend at all.
Not close enough for Ricky McIntosh as Ronnie Smart takes the conventional line round the gasworks hairpin up towards paddock. Ronnie Smart for Project 1 takes victory at Event 2 here at Warden Law from Ricky McIntosh and Archie Loveridge. And then it's going to be Archie Cannon side by side with Edward Rye for 4th and 5th.